How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting and welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia. So, last episode was really interesting. It was kind of a blend of the absurd ridiculousness you expect from a pseudo-eroge type story and the really serious turn it took at the other half. So, hopefully you were there for both. We had the coconuts of censorship again, which is great. They're good, very big help on the channel. I always get nervous because it's one of those things where like YouTube is really finicky and very vague about applying I don't want to call it censorship, but like restrictions and lack of sharing of videos that contain some content. Like I always flag it and tell it like, hey, this is what this content is, but a lot of times it can be subjective, where I see that it's more of a shenanigans based storytelling rather than like strictly about being ridiculous, like over the top sexualization. You can argue that it is, and so it's one of those things where it's like you gotta worry about the YouTube stuff. But so far, it seems like it's okay. That's always good. Regardless of that, the story was really what we all come for, and really was impactful this time around with the kind of pseudo date on the cliffside and the very real talk we have with Michiru, and the appearance of Dark Michiru, who intervened in a very inappropriate time, was very frustrating. So like, I've now become like very, I enjoy the time, the ridiculous like shenanigans we have with Michiru, like Light Michiru, and Dark Michiru has become very annoying to me. I'm hoping we get to, actually talk to them both and like get some real answers and stuff and structured out. But for the minute, it's mostly just frustration and a fear, I guess. And Yuuji also has been manifesting this like real connection, like where before he was pretty solid, he knew where he stood and how he felt. Now he's not sure. So he has a little time to try and figure out like what he wants and try and like, he kind of has an idea of what she wants, but I think she also doesn't know what she wants. So I'm hoping we'll get some solid answers now, because I feel like we're not in a position to be able to make a solid choice here. Anyway, alright, let's just jump into it and see what shenanigans and interesting twists we get to experience with the story today. The newly designated Meowmal, I forgot about the name, has officially become the component of Michiru's world. In commemoration, the girl brought pricey white meat from some pet food store, and after breaking it up into tiny chunks and fed it to the cat in question. Of course, the finicky little beast barely ate half the bowl before turning up its nose and wandering off. But Michiru smiled happily nonetheless. Even if she did complain about her friend's high-class taste, the girl looked deeply gratified. It wasn't an unpleasant little scene. I doubt any objective observer would take me for an average student, but over the time I've spent with Michiru recently, I think we may have become a fairly convincing ordinary couple, even if it is nothing but a game.
Nyameru! Nyameru! Nya! Ah, いたいた。なんであんたユージの部屋にいるのよ。いつも私の部屋にいるくせに。
Yeah. I mean, it's like a second home. I think that's cool.
にゃいや、にゃじゃなくてね。わかる？っていうかユージ、ニャメルってどれくらい言葉を理解できるの？
I was reading quietly in my room, but that seemed to be at an end. Not only Michiru, but even her pet are now barging in here whenever they feel like it. That said, the cat's still wary of me. Whenever I approach, he runs off and hides. Don't understand why he comes to my room for the express purpose of fleeing. The animal's more convincing, a more convincing tsundere than his master ever was.
ねえ、ちょっと聞いてる？
Yeah, I'm listening. Are you asking about this creature's particular capabilities or the linguistic intelligence of cats in general?
あれよ。とにかく、どれぐらい話通じるのってこと。
Well, let's see. To simplify somewhat, I think he understands about as much as you do. Yuuji.
そんなに？ほとんど人間じゃない。
So you're not?
いや、私は人間だけど、そうじゃなくて、その。
It's taking a while to get through. Hey.
まあ、頭のいい子ってことだよね。私と違って。
Well, it's impossible to really understand the thoughts of someone you can't hold a conversation with, even among fellow human beings. A difference in language can lead to pointless conflict.
だからそういう難しい話がしたいんじゃなくて、ただ単にニャーメルのことをね。
What is with the wait, go away. What's with the sassy face? Like I clicked wrong and it did the file thing. Anyway, what's with sass face here? I wasn't trying to be obtuse. It's a simple question of how we communicate our intentions to each other. Very basic stuff.
そうですけどね。もういいです。
Her cat still perched on her head, Michiru approaches me timidly, a frown on her face, but an exaggerated performance. I can tell that she's not actually too unhappy at the moment.
あのね、ユージ。楽しいです。毎日。
Aww. Is that so? Guess your make-believe game was a wise choice.
あ、そうだね。おままごとを発明した子供を呼んで、ニャーメル賞を差し上げたいや。
Ugh. Can we just drop the game part?
あのさ、こう、ずっとデートごっこしてるわけだけど、今もごっこ中？
Okay. I think that depends. Yeah, now we're gonna enter the word games. Sure. Not like we've been drawing a clear line, so that works for me.
ってことは、私、彼氏の家に遊びに来ちゃったみたいなことか。
I'm not sure I'd necessarily infer that dating someone means they're your boyfriend.
いいの、定義しなさい。だとしたら、こう、いいうちも、彼女を部屋に呼んじゃったみたいな感じになるんだよね。
If by invite you mean allowed into my room, then I suppose, yes. I guess you could interpret it that way.
やべ、自分で言ってドキドキしてきちゃった。
You're a strange one. Want some water?
いらない。
I see. Think I'll have some myself. I take a bottle of mineral water from the fridge, pour a glass, gulp down a mouthful. The cool liquid slides pleasantly down my gullet.
あ、やっぱちょうだい。
Sure, not a problem. Wait a sec, I'll get you a glass.
それでいい。
Yeah, that's what I thought. Michiru snatches the glass from my hand, then hesitantly examines it. Seeming uncertain where to put her mouth, in the end, she squeezes her eyes shut and chugs down the rest of the water. You're not a child, alright? Don't start squawking about indirect kissing just because our lips mash together at the same place as a piece of glass.
そういうことじゃん。
It totally is. It's totally that. I retrieve the glass from Michiru's clutches, leaving it in the sink and leave it in the sink and take a seat on the bed. Michiru follows, lowering herself to sit at my side. Oh my gosh. Oh! I do think it's good that he kind of is like encouraging her to take the steps, but like still, it's almost painful. What's with you?
いや、恋人同士って二人きりになったらどんなことするのかな。
Oh, Michiru, what are you asking about? Sex would be the first on the list.
ユージ
You just said it? Yes? Something the matter?
いや、なんていうかですね。
When a male and a female of appropriate age find themselves alone behind closed doors, that's a natural result. Much less when you're dealing with a romantic couple. Don't they seek out privacy for that express purpose? Okay, Yuuji. Again, not sure where his experiences come from. Like, there are, other points along the trajectory between, like, hanging out and sex that you can intermediately reach before you go all the way. That are perfectly reasonable and fun.
わかんない。わかんないっす。
Bright red all the way to her ears. Michiru lowers her eyes from my face. Well, suppose it's understandable. Maybe the truth, but I'm being pretty frank about it. Well, wanna pretend?
やだ、そんなのできるわけないじゃん。そういうのはちゃんとしないとダメでしょ。
Yeah. That's probably the proper attitude, yes. Alright then, let me ask you this instead. This may be a game, but you've still voluntarily paid a private visit to your boyfriend's room. What did you have in mind? That's a, oh, I didn't mean to do that.
そうだな。手をつないだりとか。
Okay. I immediately seize one of Michiru's hands. Okay, done. Anything else? She's like, holy crap, he'll just go with it.
そうですね。 これはしないよ、しないけどね。でも耳にちょってしたりとか。
Interesting. My experience has been that's a hit or miss thing. Some people really like that. Some people really hate it. A kiss on the ear. So we're talking about foreplay now.
いや、多分違います。そういうことじゃないんですけど、耳ってくすぐったいから、なんかいたずらっぽい感じで。
Yeah, she likes the teasing. Honestly, if she enjoys teasing, no wonder she likes Yuuji. He's the king of teasing. I see. Well, we're not actually going to do it, are we? Since this is just pretend and all?
しない。あとはたくさんお話できればそれでいい。満足だと思う。
I see. Well, that's not much different from the normal routine, but if that's good enough for you, I don't mind.
でも
Meow was like, come on, just go for it. Apparently, perturbed by Michiru's constant vacillating? I guess it's vacillating. The cat leaps down from her head and runs off to hide under something.
ね、キスしたい。
Aww. But we're not going to, right? Since this is only pretend?
したい。ごっこだけどね。ごっこだけどしたい。
Oh, it's so cute. Oh my gosh, my heart, I can't take it. You sure?
する。
Even as she speaks, Michiru inches away from me. Well, she's the one who asked. I reach over and grab the girl's shoulder, gently pulling her back toward me in order to comply with her request.
何？
We're kissing, aren't we?
するけど、もう今早くない？
Here goes.
ちょっと待って。
Forming inside my arms, Michiru turns her face away from mine. Soon enough, she's made up an excuse.
急にされるの嫌だ。ちゃんと気持ちの準備したい。
Okay. Understood. I'll wait for you. So let me know when your preparations are complete. He's so cold!
この状態で顔近くない？
I'll be returning to point blank range soon enough anyway. Backing off now would just be a waste of time.
そういうものですか。はい。
She's getting ready. Preparing. I'd observed Michiru's face from a few centimeters away. Her cheeks are alarmingly red. Her chest heaves violently with every breath. One would almost suspect a sudden illness of some sort, but I suppose the girl's just extremely tense. We good?
まだ。
She's blue screening. She's blue screening.
いいよ。
As soon as the girl finally gives me the go-ahead, I close the distance between us and claim her lips without hesitation. Her shoulders twitch inside my grip, and in the next instant, I can feel her whole body go stiff as a plank. After a moment, I slowly open my mouth. Michiru's lips adhere to mine, naturally part as well. Oh boy. Silly girl seems to have been expecting nothing more than a simple lip-to-lip kiss. Now that I've pried her mouth open, she's clearly bewildered. Not that it's enough to stop me from pushing my He's so forward! But I mean, he's just going for it. Hot gusts of breath escape Michiru's small nose. Clumsy with fear, her tongue tries to shrink away, but I slowly entwine it with my own, deliberately preventing its escape. Grief makes it sound like he's hunting it. Our saliva mingles, producing vaguely obscene sounds. Apparently embarrassed by the noise, Michiru squeezes her eyes shut and shakes her shoulders as if to flee. And so the kiss ends. It only lasted a few seconds, but I'm getting the impression it felt a good deal longer than Michiru. As I wipe away a strand of saliva from the outside of her lip with a finger, the girl's face contorts with embarrassment.
激しすぎるんですけど。
I believe kisses between romantic partners tend to go roughly along those lines.
ちょっ てやつかと思った。
I see. Suppose it is my fault for not double checking first. Want to do over?
いいです。
She's like, I'm currently burning out. I need to go lie down.
怒ってないよ。
Aww. Nobody so much as hinted at the possibility, but Michiru denies it anyway, probably attempting to convince herself of something.
だってごっこだもんね。大丈夫。ところで、明日はどこにデートしに行こうか。
What are you saying? The others should be coming back tomorrow, since the ideas behind the pretend date was to kill time. They should no longer be necessary, correct?
ああ。そっか、そうだよね。暇つぶしだもんね。
I hate it. I hate it. I get it, but I hate it.
そうだね。そうよ。そうじゃない。何よ。何なのよ。
Oh, what's this? Pretty sudden attitude change. Has your tsundere engine started up again?
やっとモーターのコイルが温まってきたところなのよ。そうよ。今までのただの暇つぶしのごっこだったから。
Why is the cat
もういらな
mad?
いわよね。
I'm not sure whether the girl's playing tough or really means that, but she does offer a convincingly ferocious glare.
まあまあの退屈しのぎにはなったわね。でもそれも今日でおしまい。明日からは私はいつもの生まれながらのツンデレに戻るわよ。
Inbred tsundere? What? Not a fact, but tell me, Michiru.
様をつけなさいよ、この猫助が。にゃ
What are you going to do after the? Why are you going after the cat instead of me? Also, you've got your name wrong.
わかってるわよ。ニャーメルでしょ、ニャーメル。もういいのよ。やっとみんなが帰ってきてせいせいするわ。
I'm not.
あんたと二人っきりなんて面白くなかったからね。ふむって何よ。もっと何かないの。
Not really. Well, let's continue to maintain a mutually cordial acquaintance, my friend.
よろしくされたくなんてないけど、されちゃうんだからね。それじゃあ私は部屋に帰るわ。ついてこないでね。
See that?
絶対についてこないでよね。
Okay. I was about to say, like, I don't know what she wants, but now I'm not sure even more. With those words, Michiru stalks out of my room. I have to admit, her exceptionally abrupt change in attitude took me slightly by surprise, but I'm fairly sure I only spoke the truth. Our relationship was nothing more than roleplay fantasy, founded in fiction, not real feelings. I mean, that's the exact reason we were able to be together so easily, wasn't it? I have a feeling this is going to get messy. I lie down on my bed and heave a deep sigh. The scent of Michiru's artificial fragrance lingers on the tips of my fingers. It's a sweet and gentle smell, pleasant in its own way, but badly out of place in this dreary room. Alright, boy, what are we gonna do? 5 in the morning. Whether or not the world changes around me, the priorities stay the same. Barring a job request or other special circumstances, I run. Simple as that. Haven't seen Michiru yet today. Of course, it's still early in the morning, but I've got the sense she won't be approaching me quite so proactively from now on. Naturally, that's because the others are coming back. With their return, our private make-believe world is coming to an end. We'll be returning to our normal lives, such as they are. I ride my standard route, fixed moderate pace, careful not to wind myself. Finish with a light cool-down cruise, of course. I regularly pour water into my heated body to prevent dehydration. It's the exact same routine as always, but for some reason it feels less than fully satisfying today. Yeah, I wonder why! The day slips past noon, there's still no sign of Michiru. I briefly consider heading up to her room to see if anything happened, but that'd probably be an overreaction. It's possible she's just sleeping in, for one thing. After all, we've been running around all over the place on these pretend dates, so it wouldn't be surprising if the accumulated fatigue caused her to oversleep. In the end, I decided to take a walk around the campus to clear my mind. I am fully familiar with the scenery by now, but the firm grasp of the local terrain and arrangement of nearby buildings is extremely important. Oh boy, you coping hard now, Yuuji. It's critical to maintain awareness of visible escape routes and suitable places to take shelter in case of an emergency. As such, times, up-to-date and precise knowledge of your environment can be the difference between life and death. Therefore, I proceed to sequentially compare the layout of the area against my map in my mind. Takaki.
Tadaima.
What's with that look on your face? Something wrong?
いいえ、むしろ何かあったのはあなたじゃない？とても怖い顔をしていたわよ。
Yeah, it's complicated is a pretty good summary. As I was imagining various crisis scenarios while reviewing the area, it seems my face naturally grew somewhat fierce. I stick my index finger in the corners of my mouth and push them upward. Is this better? How about now?
何それ？風見くんどうしちゃったの？
You said I was scary, so I constructed a pleasant smile for your benefit. What's so strange about that?
そうだけど、そんなことする人だった？
Yeah, that's true. That's a very that's inconsistent with him. Even I clown around every once in a while.
ほどけてみなさいよ。
Very well. I will now tell you a joke.
うん。
A sandwich walks into a bar. The barman says, "Sorry, we don't serve food in here."
うん。
That was terrible. Takaki, my friend, allow me to explain. The word serve can refer to both offering certain items for sale and...
いや、わかってる、わかってます。面白くなかっただけ。
It was so not funny, it was funny, actually. What? I had a lot of confidence in that one. I smashed a hit. It was a smash hit in Daiben food, you know?
それは良かったわね。どこ
Pretty
か
sure
わから
that's
ないけど。
Vietnam?
ともかく、冗談を言うのは知ってたけど、なんだかちょっと変わったみたい。
Don't know about that. I'm the same person I've always been.
あ、そうだ。ちゃんとお土産買ってきたわよ。はい、これ、風見くんの分。
Whoa! A fluorescent green glow-in-the-dark skeleton keychain? Never expected you to actually buy one, much less an anatomically correct model with limbs that rattle back and forth.
だってちゃんと言ってたでしょ？これ。
Well, I suppose, but the visual impact was intense enough that the fanfare rang out in my head.
ちょっと言ってることわかんない。
He really is different. What the heck was
それが松島
that?
さんにこれ、ペナント6枚。種類がたくさんあって迷ったから、とりあえず同じ柄を6枚にしておいた。
Boy, you just exude rich girl vibes. She's happy. That's cute. I see. Give them to her. Give them to her later. I'm sure she'll be pleased.
そうかな。それじゃあね。
Pennant thoughts? You barely even find these these in souvenir shops these days. What exactly did Sakaki wander off to anyway? Hey! A few minutes later, Makina's voice unexpectedly reaches my ears. Her high-pitched squawking prompts something almost like nostalgia. It must be Amane's back as well.
ただいま。あれ、せっかく帰ってきたのに、ユージってばあんまり嬉しそうな顔してくれないのね。
He's secretly sad you're back.
熱い抱擁でもしようか？
Not necessary. I'm satisfied to see you safely returned. That's all that matters.
何より？ね、何より？何？
I'll rephrase that. I find your safe return preferable to the alternative.
ああ、なるほどね。無事の方が無事じゃないよりいいもんね。ああ、懐かしいな。お兄ちゃんのその声、その顔、その笑顔。
The old days? It was like 2 weeks ago. I don't think I was smiling, actually.
え、そうだっけ？じゃあ笑ってみせるのよさ。
No, I think I'll pass. I tried something similar just now, but it didn't get a very good reception.
ずるい。私にも笑いかけてほしいのよさ。
Alright, enough of that. Amane, my friend, were you able to enjoy your satisfactory period of rest or recreation? Amane answers while slightly smacking her own shoulder in a show of weariness.
まあ、ある程度はね。でもほら、時期も時期だから、地元でお祭りがたくさんあって、それにいちいちマキナが行きたがるのよ。
Dang. How many festivals? Okay, I was about to say, like, how many festivals can one town have? But I'm guessing it's, like, multiple festivals across multiple cities in the nearby area. That would make sense that they wouldn't want to overlap them so that, like, they'd be more likely to have, like stronger showings and audiences.
だってさ、お祭りってさ、いいじゃん。だから行きたいじゃん。イカ焼きあるし。
I wonder what grilled squid is like. I've only had calamari, and it's like fried. I've never had anything beyond that.
食べられないのにたくさん買って、相変わらずって感じ。結局、どこにいてもマキナと一緒だと変わらないわね。
Yeah, that's fair.
あ、そうだ。お兄ちゃんイカ焼き食べる？4日前のだけど。 食べるかなと思って取っておいたのよさ。
No.
やめときなさいよそれ。食べられないと思うわよ。
大丈夫だよ。アルミホイルでくるんでおいたから
Aluminum
いけるはず。
foil doesn't make food stay good. Makina went out of her way to bring it back, so I suppose I'll take a bite. Sure, a very small amount can't do that much digestive damage. Are you kidding me, Yuuji? You know better than this.
やめときなってば。
なにどうしたの？騒がしいじゃない。帰ってきたのに私に挨拶なしとは舐められたもんね。ビシー。
Is this weird? It's weird seeing her. How are we gonna react now? Michiru makes an abrupt, dashing entrance. Just as before, she's fully clad in tsundere armor, her expression cheerful and energetic.
あ、チルチル、威嚇？
Oh no!
みちる、それ。
What a bold spirit. Ignorance is bliss, as they say.
ほら、担当食べ。
No, stop!
ほら。
No, stop!
なにこれ？ズズケイか。わかんない。あ、そう。ああ、うまかったー。
What the fetch? No!
みちるは相変わらずね。
そうよ。相変わらずよ。
In response to Amane's words, Michiru shoots a quick glance in my direction. I'm not sure of the meaning behind this, if there is any.
ねえ、お兄ちゃん。久しぶりだから、今日は一緒に寝るのよさ。
Oh boy. Makina leaps in my direction and unabashedly coils herself around my arm. The girl seems to be performing her best impression of a monkey escaped from the zoo. Somebody's weirdly brazen today.
それがね、途中からユージに会いたいってダダっ子みたいになってね。寂しかったみたい。
でもすっごい不思議。チルチルのことは思い出さなかったのよ。
Hey!
あれ？冗談なのよ。チルチル？
Michiru bites her lower lip and stares in our direction with a troubled expression on her face.
チルチルってば、ねえねえ。
Yeah, it's like we're trying to get back into the swing and it's like it just feels weird.
なによ。なんでもないわよ。私は普通よ。
It's clear Michiru suddenly lost her composure. She actually seems to be hyperventilating slightly. What's wrong, Michiru? Calm yourself.
だからどうもしてないってば。どこにでもいる普通のツンデレじゃない。ちょっと気にしすぎよ。
I think that's the thing. It's like we may have been pretending, but I don't think we were pretending. Somehow I'm not convinced. I exchange looks with Amane. She seems equally concerned.
大丈夫よね。マキナ、部屋に戻って荷物を片付けちゃおうか。
Thank you, Amane.
もうちょっとお兄ちゃんとの再会を味わいたいのよさ。
いいからいいから。ほら、早く。
Thank you. Practically torn off me by Amane, Makina grudgingly sets off toward the dorm.
また後で遊んでね。
Yeah. As soon as the two are out of sight, Michiru lowers her head to me apologetically.
ごめんなさい。
For what?
あんな態度とって。でも違うの。そういうんじゃなくて。
Unfortunately for you, Yuji's also not sure what he thinks about any of this, so I don't think he's thinking, you're thinking, or any thinking's gonna make any sense here.
本当に違うの。みんながいて嬉しいの。すごく楽しい。で
Yeah.
も怖くなっちゃったの。
Yeah. Scared? Of what exactly?
前にも言ったけど、みんなずっと一緒にいられないんだって思ったらとても悲しくなって。それで変になっちゃった。ごめんなさい。
So the tsundere came out because it's her defense mechanism, but now, like, it feels like she crossed a line where that defense mechanism isn't enough anymore. I drop a hand into Michiru's head and pat her head like a cat. That's no good. If you're a tsundere, then act like one. You're worrying too much about a lot of things.
にゃ。
There he is.
あんまり変な感じにならないようにするね。
You do that. There's still plenty of time until graduation, isn't there? No need to break down now.
わかった。むちょむちょ。
It's eating something on top of your head.
気にしないで。ビスケットだから。
I'll admit to being somewhat worried, but I'll do my best to pretend otherwise.
風見さんにみちる様じゃないですか。これはお久しぶりでございます。小峰幸、再びこの地に舞い戻ってまいりました。
あら、サチじゃない。ちょっと見ない間に。いや、特に変わり映えしないわね。
Yeah.
そうですね。人というのはそれほど簡単に変わるものではありませんからね。みちる様は元気そうですが、風見さんはいかがですか？
No problems worth mentioning.
そうですか。それは良かったです。今日からは風見さんとずっと一緒にいますから、もしご用があれば何なりと申し付けてくださいね。もちろんみちる様も遠慮はいりませんからね。それでは私、荷物の整理を。
サチは普通のこと言ってるだけだよね。それなのに、なぜか胸が痛くなる。
It's because you're freaking emotionally attached to Yuuji now. Because you've had... Okay, it's like one of those things again where it's like... It's the big problem. Like, if I have a problem... Okay. If people are involved in things like sex work or even like... just like chat rooms, call centers... in Japan, they have like the hostess and host bars and like anything along those terms. Anytime when you're like kind of having a fake intimacy, the problem with it, really, like the only reason I have a problem with it, it's not I don't care if it exists. I don't care if you do it. I don't care if it's part of your lifestyle. Like honestly, like you're an adult, you can make adult decisions. But the worry, especially for like the people who are like participating, who it's not their job. The big problem is that for a lot of people, intimacy of any kind, it brings about its own emotional baggage. It's very difficult for a lot of us to detach these emotional, like intimate moments from reality, to be like, oh, it's just fake. And that's like one of the scariest things I think about, like the AI chat rooms, these AI chat friend bots that are cropping up, and they're being way successful. And I worry because knowing it's a fake doesn't mean that the feelings aren't real. And that can lead people into these really weird kind of halvesy states that makes it difficult to start. It starts breaking down the barriers between what is fake and what's real, and starts making it difficult to understand and to know. And if you get the right combination with the right kind of personality, it can become very self-destructive and very, frankly, it can get dangerous. That's the problem I have with it. I don't have any problem with the existence. I get the problem I have is that it feels like there's no safety rails that are there. And Michiru's going through this right now, where she tried to have a kind of fake relationship, but all her feelings are all too real. Now, granted, this fake relationship wasn't predicated by this idea that she just felt like having some kind of like connection or expression, or, you know, was feeling pent up and just needed a release of some kind with Yuuji. Instead, she genuinely likes Yuuji. She likes Yuuji like really, really passionately. But she's terrified because her whole life, everything that's mattered to her has been stripped away or vanished randomly because Dark Michiru. And she's terrified of losing it more than she is like wishing to have it. And so she put up the facade of the fake relationship. But like I said, the real feelings got through despite the pretext. And now they're muddled together, and it's going to make things really challenging. I think what she needs is she needs to accept that she's willing to take the risk, and she has to be willing to go for it. But how do you get someone to do that? Heck, if a normal, everyday person would struggle to do that, how is somebody who's going through what she's going through with her second personality and her vanishing memories, how are you supposed to persuade her to take that leap of faith? To take the risk of being hurt so badly? It's nuts. And then again, like it heralds to that whole idea that like, there's nothing wrong with chatting with an AI. There's nothing wrong with going to a host bar. There's nothing wrong with even getting involved in sex work. The trouble is when that very clear, not real intimacy becomes conflated with real intimate feelings. Like as soon as that barrier is reached and you start mingling those two worlds in your mind, it can become very toxic very quickly. And it doesn't even, not even on both sides. It can become very toxic on just one individual. And it just gets messy. And like, that's why it's like one of those things, like, I don't have any problem with them existing, but like, the people who participate need to be careful. And the problem is that the business side of it wants to be predatory. Like especially the AI apps, I think are going to be horrifically predatory because there's really no safety guards or standard procedures. So they're just going to be trying to cram as much money and interaction as possible. But even host and hostess bars, they take advantage of these pseudo emotions that people feel that even if even logically they know aren't real, their emotions and their hearts say they are. They get people to spend thousands of dollars at these places on girls or guys. And it's so unhealthy. Almost like a gambling addiction. You just get these artificial feelings that are close enough to reality that you become dependent on them. And that's what's scary. Because for a lot of us, there are people whom we can connect with and get those real intimate feelings for. Even if it feels like it's frustrating, even if it feels like it's taking a while. There are people to connect with out there. But when you're struggling to find it, these fakes can become a band-aid that you then become so reliant on that it feels like there's nothing else out there for you. And that gets really scary. That's what worries me, is that people get stuck. And Michiru is a good kind of case of this, but again, her case is so specific, and because it is bonded with an actual person who is also kind of like reciprocating these feelings, and the complexity of her like really unique situation, makes this a much messier, much more tangled, but also in a weird way, a healthier situation than the ones I've been talking about. So anyway, that's just my thoughts on the matter. Nothing wrong with those things existing, but there have to be there has to be self-regulation, or else things get really messy.
ずっと一緒にいるってユージに言った時、心が苦しくなった。なんだろうこれ。
Don't ask me. You'll probably be back to normal soon enough.
そうか、そうだよね。うん、そうだね。私、今日は部屋で休むことにする。ちょっと調子悪いや。
Probably the squid.
松島さん。これ、お土産。
ごめん。今日は休むから明日にしてくれる？ごめんね。
ペナント。
My apologies, but Michiru seems to be under the weather. Save those for next time, alright? Aww, that's actually really sad. She was really looking forward to sharing. Aww. Fetch, V, that's actually really depressing too. With all the students back in the dormitory, our normal lives pick back up where they left off 2 weeks ago, or so I'd like to say, but just as I'd feared, things don't go quite so smoothly. When Michiru spends time with the group, she's quiet and gloomy. Even the perpetual oblivious Machina is caught on to leading to tactful comments such as, "You're acting weird lately, Turu." From what Michiru's told me, the source of her distress is her belief that everything ends eventually. Personally, it strikes me as pointless to worry about such things, but the girl's clearly suffering in her own way. Our anxieties and fears are personal things. It's impossible for others to ever fully understand them. As the girl grows increasingly unstable, the other Michiru has begun to appear in her place much more frequently. She seems, to put it lightly, somewhat concerned about the situation. I bet she's probably going to kick the door in our room. Be like, "What did you do?" That you, Michiru?
そうよ。私。
It's dark, Michiru. Oh, it's you again. You seem to be appearing a lot recently.
仕方ないでしょ。あの子が怯えて外に出ようとしないんだもの。ずっと部屋に閉じこもっているようなものよ。実際、部屋に閉じこもってることも多いけど。あの猫、なんて言ったかしら。
Meowmo. Meowmo.
その猫と一緒に部屋で遊んでばっかり。どうも君にもあまり関わらないようにしてるみたい。
Me? Why would she do that?
わかるでしょ？怖いのよ。依存してしまうのが。いつか失うことを恐れて近づけないの。思春期には珍しいことじゃないけど、少し彼女の場合は大げさね。
Not unusual for an adolescent. Now, that could be like her alter personality like just talking like in a high sophisticated tone, like talking older, but at the same time it also seems like an older person, like somebody who's like in their like elder years or like at full adulthood at least. That's weird. So is there something I can do about this?
そうね。
After briefly thinking it over, she answers in a careful, deliberate tone.
病院に連れて行ってあげることが一番だと思うわ。彼女はとても不安で、それを誰も慰めることができないもの。
No, I really don't think that's the case. Ah, sounds like a pragmatic approach.
君が永遠の愛を誓って自らの血を捧げたとしても、その約束が本物だという証拠がない限り、あの子は安心しない。かといって永遠を証明するために何十年も時間をかけるわけにもいかない。
And these days we have plenty of respectable, compatible psychiatrists. I see.
それだけじゃないけどね。隅々まで精密検査を受けさせてほしい。何かわかるかもしれない。
Yeah, like this Dark Michiru is talking like a scientist. Very like not like it's all about facts and all about data points and not really about like emotions. Either way, Michiru's not going to like the idea.
でも仕方ないでしょ。
Lured by the sound of our voices, the black cat pops up out of nowhere, but after taking one look at Michiru, it pauses in confusion, then quickly retreats. I like how the cat like can tell the difference.
これは少しシリアスな話だけど。
Uh-huh. Her face suddenly grave, the girl stares me steadily in the eye.
あの子がこれ以上おかしくならないようにちゃんと見ていてあげて。
Yeah, I guess that might be warranted at this point. These words are turn and leave. The girl's arguments seem reasonable enough, but it's unsettling to take advice from someone I know so little about. Who or what is she, anyway? I can speculate, but the answer's beyond my grasp. The more I try to fit the pieces together, the more of a scrambled, confused mess the board becomes. Later that same afternoon, there's a knock at my door. It's fine, come in. I wait a few seconds, but the visitor makes no move to enter. I stand and proceed to open the door myself. Unsurprisingly, Michiru standing on the other side with a dismal look on her face. What's wrong? You stopped by for a reason, I assume. How about coming inside? The girl was barging in without warning only a few days ago, but things have changed. It's as though Michiru walked here through a rain shower. Her shoulders are slumped, and you could practically see the melancholy dripping from her bangs. Retrieving her Ramune candies from the shark pouch of hers, she tosses one after another into her mouth. Perhaps the girl's trying to energize her brain with a rush of glucose, but this still seems somewhat excessive. You're going to give yourself diabetes. Thin people aren't immune, you know.
ならないもん。気持ちを落ち着かせるための糖分だもん。
Wow, she's talking like my brain half the time. It's just like, give me sugar, shut up! Michiru looks at me with bloodshot eyes, seemingly waiting for me to say something. Unfortunately, I have no idea what she's expecting. What? If you've got something to say, then spit it out already. Yuuji, come on!
またデートしない？
Michiru asks the question with the tentative wariness of a small animal peeking out from behind a tree. I think she may have deliberately framed the question in a way that allows her to pass it off as a joke, depending on my reaction. Didn't we talk about this before? It was just a game to kill time, right?
わかってるわよ。そうよね。そうなのよ。
Come
でも
on!
ほら、楽しかったのは事実じゃない？だから。
Thinking about it though, if the others notice, they're gonna take it the wrong way.
そうよね。わかってるわよ。ちょっと冗談で言っただけよ。でもさ、ほら。
Please, yes, come on!
キスだけでもしない？
What are you saying, woman?
なんてね。だから冗談だってば。あんた本気にしたの？まったくもう。
Yuuji!
ジョークのわからない男ね。
Yuuji, I understand that she's being difficult, but you've gotta... Can we meet her halfway? Can you break it and be like, what if we just went on a real date? Can we do that, please? Hard to take it as a joke when you say it with such a desperate look on your face.
切実な顔なんてしてないわよ。余裕よ。余裕。 ャンベルおいでー。にゃ
There he is.
ー。私はね、別に寂しくなんてないんだからね。ニャンメルがいれば平気だもん。にゃー。ほら、いつものビスケットあげる。むちょむちょ。むちょ
Aww.
むちょ。
The black cat insistently bites into the doughy cake Michiru offers, not even bothering to smell it first. Foolish little beast. Nothing good can come from allowing yourself to be so thoroughly domesticated. Well, that works, I guess. They say animal therapy can be surprisingly effective.
何よ、セラピーって。私は別に普通だもん。
Michiru turns her back to me and makes to leave the room, but she hesitates in front of the door to mumble one final comment.
あんまり他の女の子と仲良くしないでね。
I wait for the follow-up, anticipating something along the lines of a gotcha, or perhaps you took me seriously again? What an idiot. But instead, Michiru simply opens the door and trudges out. Things seem to be heading in a problematic direction. As if to illustrate, the gathering rain clouds outside cast my room into a grayish gloom. I'm neither a prophet nor a playboy, but I have a strong suspicion that the balance of this claustrophobic shoebox garden is rapidly breaking down. Oh no. That's a phrase. Claustrophobic shoebox. Okay, we'll go a little longer. To fully decipher a story, you need to proceed through it in a proper order. Skipping ahead and learning how things end doesn't mean you understand the substance of the matter. We have no choice but to patiently absorb the author's words and wait for things to come together. But it can be difficult at times, even for me. I've been known to flip forward a few pages and take a peek. Are you trying to say something, game? You know I've been screaming at you this whole time. The writer knows. He's like, this is like an aside, like subtle thing, like, just wait, just give it time. Oh man. Once you've read even one line out of order, or learning one thing you shouldn't have, it's not possible to wipe your memory clean and return to your previous spot. That's why spoilers suck. No matter what sort of sentence it may be, you have no choice but to accept it. This is the price we pay for our curiosity.
そうしたらユージってば、私に向かってこんなこと言うのよ。それじゃあコロッケが台無しだなって。
Like her expression when she's speaking us, we look so.
それはお兄ちゃんらしいのよさ。
なるほどね。またその続き聞かせてね。
もちろんよ。さ、今日は解散。チルチルは変になったり元気になったり落差が激しいのね。でもそれがチルチルらしさなのよさ。人生はテンション、世の中は緩急、それが大事ってわけよ。ふふん。
So that's the thing. It's like she's talking like old Michiru, but like the flipping between the two, I'm actually thinking that that's the thing, is that the flipping, that this is dark Michiru being Michiru, because she's been able to, fake it through before, right? So I'm guessing the more gloomy Michiru is real Michiru. And this is the alternate dark Michiru.
それじゃあマキナ、おやつ食べに行こうか。おやつ
だったらあれ食べたい。ジャイアントチョッキー。
はいはい、買ってあげるからね。
Nice impersonation. Seems I've been something of a celebrity. Yeah, I was right.
ああ、ユージ君。さっきまであの子ちゃんとここにいたのに。君の気配を感じたら急に引っ込んじゃったわよ。
You don't say. Is she that angry with me?
そういうことじゃないけど。でもどうしたらいいかわからないわ。
So you've been deliberately filling in for her when she feels like she's disappearing then?
まあ。
What's wrong, Michiru?
ごめん。部屋まで運んで。
Oh, fetch V! Michiru practically collapses into my arms, limp as a rag doll, fainting in the middle of a conversation. That's a first. What the hell's going on with this girl anyway? I carry Michiru to her room and lay her on her bed. Although I expect her to be out for a while, only a few moments pass before she groggily sits up. It'll probably take a few moments for her to fully regain consciousness, but at least she appears to be alright. And fortunately, the girl who woke up appears to be the Michiru I know best. You alright? Look at the light. I check the reception of her pupils with the pen light, but can't find anything out of the ordinary. Of course, at this point, I'm less worried about the girl's physical condition than her psychological state. I'm gonna be blunt, Michiru. You should go to a hospital. You can't maintain a normal life under these circumstances.
うん、
You know that yourself, don't you?
わかってる。ごめんなさい。
That girl said the same thing. It's probably an appropriate step at this point.
あいつって誰？
I think he didn't realize she didn't know at all. I cursed silently, but it's too late. Since I wasn't in a position to predict the consequences, I've been careful to avoid directly mentioning the other girl to Michiru, but I was distracted by the problem in front of my eyes and my tongue slipped. Now that we've reached this point, coming up with some half-assed line would probably be counterproductive. Instead of trying to bluff, I answer honestly. Good! Good. She's... well, I guess she's the other you.
もう一人の私。
Michiru slowly raises a hand in front of her face, then sits there staring blankly into her palm like a wind-up toy that's run out of spring.
心のどこかでこんな風に考えたかったの。眠ってる間に勝手に起き上がって水を飲むようなことと同じだって。
Fetch.
無遊病みたいなもので自分が無意識にやっているって。
So she kind of knew, but was hiding from it. You know, like, it's unfortunately, it's like her only self-defense is that trying to construct a narrative that makes her feel comfortable.
だけどそうじゃないって最初から分かってた。ある時期を境に彼女が出てきたことを知ってる。
That's right. There's definitely someone else entirely inside you.
そっか。そうだよね。うん。そうなんだよね。うん。わかる。ユージは彼女とお話ししたの？
Yeah, and I'm not a fan. Yes, we've had several conversations.
何度か。それとも何度も？
Many, I guess. To be accurate, I've been talking with her pretty frequently these last few days. I really appreciate a straight answer, Michiru. Who is she?
そんなの私だってわかんないよ。
I have a distinct sense that Michiru is hiding something, but there's clearly no point pursuing the topic further right now. I offer a quiet nod instead. The girl seems to know you very well, down to the last little detail. You'd almost think she was standing over your bed and watching you sleep. But in comparison, you don't know anything about her?
うん。だって記憶がなくなっちゃうから、その子のことはよくわからない。
That sucks. Guess there's nothing we can do about that. In any case, she said it would be wise to get you to a hospital and...
ね、ユージ。
Michiru interrupts me mid-sentence. I answer with a curt yes?
どんな女の子？
What kind? Sorry, what are you asking?
もう一人の私ってどんな喋り方でどんな風にものを考えてどんなことをするの？ユージ。
A problematically broad question, but I decided to offer my honest impressions as they come to me. The other you is sociable and protective, even aggressive. The girl makes sure her opinions are known. That said, she refuses to talk about herself, so I can't say much more. What I do know is that she seems to be frank, no-nonsense person.
それで
Be careful, dude. I'm terrified. I'm terrified that she's gonna... Like, what if she decides that, like, the other girl's a better fit for Yuji, and she just decides to just completely submerge herself and just give up? Like, essentially, like, unaliving herself mentally. Like, that's what I'm scared of. Yuji should be really careful here. Michiru pesters me for more with the expectant eyes of a child demanding another chapter from a picture book. The girl sometimes takes eccentric actions, but she makes sure to handle the consequences herself. Seems to prefer clear-cut lines of responsibility. She's unpolished in some respects, but on the whole, I think it's fair to say she handles herself well. In particular, she commits herself respectably with our classmates while you're out, to the degree that nobody realizes that it's not the real Michiru, at least.
そっか。やっぱり彼女か。その子はユージから見て 悪い子じゃないんだよね。
Not sure what standard you want me to judge her against, but I don't think she's a heartless sociopath. That said, I know very little about what she's really thinking.
私より上手に生きれるんだとしたら、
No,
その
see?
子が私の代わりをずっとした方がいいのかもね。
Yuuji, come on, you better say no. Hold on, we shouldn't even be thinking about anything like that. If this is some sort of illness, we need a qualified doctor to call the shots. Although I keep it to myself, a certain proverb does occur to me. 2 kings can't live in one country.
難しくて、どうすればいいかよくわかんないや。
But for some reason, there's an oddly relieved smile on Michiru's face. It's the expression of someone who's had a wad of gum cleanly peeled off the bottom of their shoe by pure chance.
次の質問。
No,
ユージはその子のこと
I really don't like where this is going. No, Yuuji, come on. We're danger waters, danger here. If you're asking whether I feel animosity toward her, then...
違うよ。そんな話じゃない。女の子として好きかどうか。
No, actually, I hate her. Difficult to answer. Haven't been looking at her in that way.
じゃあ、わかりやすく言えば、その子がユージにキスをしてきたら嫌だってこと。
Bitch, stop! I wouldn't shove her away, but that's about all I can say. If I recall my first definite encounter with the girl in question, when she did in fact abruptly kiss me, she justified it as the curiosity of someone without a romantic experience, but in retrospect that seemed a strange excuse.
なるほどなるほど。つまりそれって嫌じゃないってことだ
That was a wrong answer, Yuuji! Hold on, Michiru. Is there some point to these questions?
ちょっと待ってよ。
Oh,
キス
fetch.
してきたって言ってたぞ。ねえねえ、もしかしてそれって彼女とキスしたってこと？
Fetch me! Oh no! The girl's normally about as sharp as a pile of bricks, but she honed right in on the problematic points. What a pain. That's right. I suppose we might have kissed. Wasn't my initiative, though. The girl suddenly pushed her lips on me.
そうなのか。じゃあ、私がファーストキスだと思ってた
No, it was! It was! It was! You weren't around for that one! It doesn't count!
ことか。
Michiru slowly traces her mouth with a fingertip as she speaks. Probably doesn't even realize she's doing it. As her fingertip passes back and forth along her lip, her previously clear face begins to cloud over. A deep wrinkle forms in the middle of her forehead, resembling a footprint of the bird in fresh snow.
前に私が落ち込んでた時、慰めに来てくれたよね。でもその時に、お前に言われてきたって言ってた。
All these things stuck out to her as odd, but she dismissed them before. She knew.
それもそういうこと？つまり、もう一人の私に言われたってこと？
That's right, it was.
ふん、そうなのか。それは恥ずかしいな。ちょっとはそうかもしれないって考えてはいたけど、慰めに来てくれて、ユージって優しいとか思っちゃったし。あ、ねえ、デートは？私とデートごっこしてくれたのは？
No, you better say this one right, because
あれは？
she thought it was a good idea, but we said no, we wanted you to do it. I agreed because the idea of playing house with you didn't really strike me as objectionable.
そっか。
But to be fair, the girl had asked me to date you beforehand.
そっか。
I don't want you to misunderstand what I just said, so I'll clarify. I didn't play house with you because the girl told me to. It was entirely my decision. Thank goodness for that!
そんなこと言われてもわかんないよ。だってその子に言われたんでしょ？だったらわかんないじゃん。なんでデートしてなんてお願いしたんだろう。
She claimed to be asking because you'd fallen in love with me.
それすっごい恥ずかしいじゃん。それって私の気持ち全部その子に筒抜けってこと？
Yeah, like it seems like everything goes to her, but you black out when she's in charge. It's just what she said to me. Your feelings are something only you understand for sure.
そうだけど。でも、実際に好きだもん。ユージのこと。
Bitch, me. Oh, okay. I mean, that's one way to get to it. I try to answer I see, but the words don't manage to escape my sudden hoarse throat.
ああ、もう、おかしくなりそう。だって今も、この会話だってその子が聞いてるってことでしょ？
Yeah.
その子は私よりもうまく人と付き合えて、うまくユージと会話ができて、自分からキスもできちゃう。
No, no, no. Danger, no!
そんな子に
Yes, you
かな
can!
わないよ。
We don't like Dark Michiru. Dark Michiru sucks! Michiru seems ready to cry at any moment. I head to the sink, fill a glass with water, and quietly hand it to her. She accepts it with a muted thank you, but doesn't drink.
私が今までずっとやってきたことって、あんまり意味なかったのかな。ほら、前に言ったじゃない？気がついたら全部がうまくいくようになってるって。それって全部その子がやってくれてたわけでしょ。だったら私がいる意味って何なんだろう。その子が私よりよくできた子だとしたら、私の存在の意味は？
I'm so stressed right now. I'm like chewing on my lip. I'm so freaking out. At the end of this long cascade of words, Michiru has a brief, heavy sigh as if reaching a command to breathe in some invisible musical score.
私ね、ユージとデートできてすごく嬉しかったんだ。キスも初めてのキスだと思ってたんだ。でも全部違ったんだね。私、バカみたいじゃない？
Not from where I'm standing. Don't worry about it.
気にするよ。すっごい気にする。どうしていいかわかんないもん。
I get that. Black cat wanders in through the door and twines around Michiru's lower leg, but her expression remains stiff.
ニャンメルと初めて会ったのも、大好きだって思った場所も、全部自分で見つけたわけじゃなくて、彼女に導かれたってことだよね。
I don't know about that.
私何もできてないね。泣いたな。
No.
ごめんね、ニャンメル。今は無理だよ。ごめん。本当に。
No, don't do that. Yuuji!
させて。
Yuuji, no! You better stop
ニャ
this!
ンメル。
The cat rides up against Michiru's feet persistently before finally realizing she won't be dispensing the attention it's looking for. It leaves the room in evident disappointment. It's almost like watching a shadow with its own will break free from Michiru's body and escape.
ユージごめん。一人にさせて。私、彼女のこと好きじゃなかったんだ。でもこんな風になったら、どうしたらいいかわからないよ。
After silently patting Michiru's head a few times, I obediently leave her room. It's raining outside. Not entirely sure when it started, but our surroundings are already thoroughly damp, chill, and gray. The black cat dashes off somewhere through the cold rain, casting a long, narrow shadow behind it. I try to call its name, but it's as though my throat has grown rusty, my voice wiped out by the sound of falling raindrops. Oh my gosh! I think I know where this is going. We're ending here. But I have this horrific feeling I know what's gonna happen. She's gonna bury herself, essentially attempting to erase herself. Because she just doesn't feel like it's worth it. And because she doesn't feel like she doesn't feel like she's worth it. She doesn't feel like she's in control. All the things that have been the most meaningful decisions and aspects of her life in the past few months have been, she feels, just catalysts of the other presence in her mind. The other presence even gets more access because the other her gets to see and hear and feel the things that Michiru does while Michiru goes into the black. Like, she feels like it's all just fake. All just a shell, that she's not even a real person anymore. And so I think she's gonna retreat. So we're gonna turn scene and we're gonna meet Dark Michiru. And Dark Michiru is gonna be like, she's not here. It's just me now. And we're gonna actually have to get to know Dark Michiru. And maybe through understanding her, we can figure out how to get her back. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. This is terrifying. Yuuji should not have left her alone, but like, what are you supposed to do? Like, especially in a moment. Like, you can just sit here and justify, be like, well, of course, you should have done this, should have done this, or should have done that, or these warning signs should have been obvious. It's like, but like, that's the thing, is like, if you were actually sitting in a room, like, I don't know how many of you have ever had a friend that you've talked to who's had dark, destructive, self-harm thoughts, but it's a thing, and it's terrifying, and you don't know what to say, because the things you feel like you do say feel flat, or like they're not enough, and you're terrified that you're not doing enough. And then there's the scary dance of like, do you ask for help? Do you ask for an intervention? Would they see that as a betrayal? Would that seem like an overreaction? And it becomes this like really scary, just like no man's land of unsure, like being unsure too. It feels like you're walking in a fog, and you have no idea what's going on around you. You just have the one goal of like wanting to make sure your friend's okay, but you've no idea how to take care of that. And it's scary. And you just got to hope and pray. You do the best you can, and that things don't go south, and that they don't make a terrible, terrible decision. Because in the end, you either have to like force them into a place where they can get direct help without their consent, or that you can help them see that they don't need to consider those thoughts, because they bring value to your life, and you want them to know that you want them to be there, and that somehow does help them, and that you're able to help them get that help they need. But I'm terrified. That notes that we left it on, and the information that we shared with her, I feel like is way too much, and I feel like it's too easy. We know she can voluntarily retreat. And so I feel like she could voluntarily retreat and never come back if she really wanted to. And that's what's scary. It's like she just has a button she can push. And I feel like she's going to. And that's terrifying. The only hope is that because Dark Michiru exists, we have a chance of maybe being able to coax her back out. Maybe we can learn more about like what's going on and figure out like some kind of avenue to reach her. Or maybe set up a situation that can somehow make Dark Michiru emerge. But the scary thing is that Dark Michiru... that makes when Dark Michiru can like manifest because she's aware of what's going on but Michiru, like Light Michiru, doesn't. And so if she pushes herself into that unconscious state, could she really just never be retrievable? Like, if she goes in committed to never coming back out, like, could anything bring her back? I don't know. Fetch me. Not really what I was hoping for, but, I mean, it makes sense, so. As depressing as this episode's been, I have a feeling next episode's going to be worse. And I think it sucks. Like, you don't understand. Like, I get so invested in these stories. Like, sometimes they can be downright, like, just, like, not disconcerting. That's too kind a word. Disturbing. Unfortunately, they can really dig in, and they can hurt. They can hurt really bad. And I'm worried we're gonna, like, if I'm right, like, I feel like it's gonna be like that for me, and that's really scary, because there have been a few visual novels that, ironically, not everyone says they're, like, the best. Some that are the best, but others that aren't, but they put me in such a state that, like, it can take days for me to get out of the funk that they put me in, because I get too invested in it. Good example is Katawa Sojo. I covered the Emmy route on my playthrough, and there's a point on the Emmy route where, like, there's a rift that forms between you and her, and it devastated me, because the best written ones are the ones where, like, you totally understand why it happened, why the rift occurs, why there's a problem, and it's just, like, you even, like, in that universe, even from hindsight's perspective here, it's like, could we do anything? It just feels like pain and confusion and fear. Seabed, another fantastic one, had a few moments like that where I just was so awash in the despair of what was happening. Steins Gate, Muv-Love, some of the best games I've ever played, unfortunately put me in really dark places at times, which is probably part of why they were so impactful for me. Why they were so powerful, why they affected me so well. Like, they had that ability to really immerse me. But, like, in the moment when it happens, like right now, I don't feel good. I feel terrible. And, like, on one hand, I want to keep going just because I need to get through it. But on the other hand, I also know that, like, my mood's not going to get better. And I feel like we got a lot more to cover that's going to get a lot more dark and a lot more insane before it's going to feel better, if it does feel better. There are such things as bad endings, you know, so we'll see. But, like, I'm scared. Like, I'm genuinely, like, emotionally, I think I need a break, because if I keep clicking the next 3 pages and what happens, I'm not sure if I'm ready for it right now, because I'm just on this precipice of just... It's hard to explain because it's so... My emotions are just so real, and part of why I love visual novels and stories like this is because I get so invested. And it's difficult to explain because it feels so real and raw. And part of it's because it relates to my own experiences, but the other part of it is, like, my imagination just takes me there, and it's scary. It's so scary. Man. So, we'll end here for now. And buckle up and brace for what's about to happen. But thank you for being here, for sharing the story with me, especially on these darker paths. I hope you're okay. I hope you're willing to stick it out with me and finish the story to the end. Thank you to the patrons and members, of course, for being so awesome and for being so supportive. And for everyone who's here watching, thank you. Until next video, watching me up and see me in next. I'll see you there.